everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and I went into this past week with a mission to not be distracted by the things that typically distract me, like make a conscious effort, and to focus on raising my level of consciousness, no matter what I'm doing or what I'm thinking, right? So I actually spent a super busy week. I got a ton of stuff done, but I had a lot of reflection time, meditation time, and I was able to sit with my journal for a certain amount of time that felt like I had a lot more time than usual because I really paid attention to my distractions and not letting them distract me, okay? Now, one of the biggest things that really came through when I was unattaching myself from my distractions that usually get me was the simple, pure beauty of this planet, this life we have, this amazing time to be alive because of all the things that are happening and the energies that are swirling around the world. Some of them, yes, they're negative, they're hard, they're suffering, but this is all happening the way it's supposed to happen. And when you step out of the distractions, the things that you see and the beauty that you see is absolutely stunning. In fact, one of the things that I have been doing a lot lately is I have this beautiful 4-mile loop that I like to walk. I start at my house, and we have had such beautiful weather this past couple of weeks that, you know, I did one of my loops today at noon. I usually do them right after I get done working, before I have dinner with my husband. Is one of my favorite times because now that we're into fall, it's starting to get darker earlier than usual. But when I go out and I walk and I look at just the sheer beauty of my neighborhood first, and there's this beautiful pathway called the Jordan River Parkway that is just about a mile from my house. So then I walk the mile, I walk a 2-mile loop, and then I walk back up to my house. And it is just a beautiful way to disconnect from all the worldly distractions and literally raise my consciousness. So what I did is I wrote a few things that I thought would help, give you some ideas on focusing on releasing and not being distracted. So releasing the distraction, and then focus on raising your vibration, raise your consciousness level. So here's a couple things that you need to prepare for. You need to prepare your body. If you're not going to be distracted, you have to stay physically ready, right? Because if you're not well and you're not feeling good, you're going to be distracted by the not feeling good. That's one of the biggest distractions in our modern world, is we have these bodies that we mistreat, and we are constantly distracted by the pain and by the discomfort, right? So not only do we need to exercise, but we need to sleep and we need to eat clean. We need to eat high vibrational foods. So we need to prepare our body. The second thing we need to prepare, and I wrote a short list of 4, is to prepare our space, the space that we're in. If we have a space that is full of stuff, completely cluttered, completely unorganized, and I'm not saying to get rid of all your stuff. I have really become a person who's enjoying having things minimal. And I think that's a normal part of getting older. You start to realize, I don't need all these things. And I still like my creature comforts, don't get me wrong, but I have really gotten to this point, the second half of my life so far, it's all about organization and how does my space feel. Part of the space includes turning off your phone at certain times, having a quiet place where you can go and meditate or be by yourself or journal or just be still, and also giving other people a heads up. This is also a part of preparing your space. People need to know what you're doing. I need some quiet time. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go sit on the porch for a minute and I need 30 minutes. Give people a heads up on what you're doing so that you can actually have the space and prepare the space for what you're after. Now, the third thing is to prepare your mind. If you're going to be releasing the need for these distractions, you need to get your mind ready. So check in with yourself and examine your feelings. Are you able to sit still? Are you able to sit by yourself with your own thoughts? Many people aren't. Many people are super uncomfortable with themselves. And the more you practice this, the better it gets. Start to like yourself. Realize that you are here in this body as this gorgeous spiritual consciousness. You are a divine spark of God. And when you sit still for a minute and you see the pure, simple beauty in just that thought, it becomes easier and easier to sit and be by yourself, even for short periods of time. Practice it. Say, okay, I'm going to set my timer and I'm going to sit here for 2 minutes. Even though you think, okay, I don't think I can do that. Start with something tiny. Start with a small amount of time. Then also a way to prepare your mind is to reframe things. Look at something from a different light. Look at it from someone else's perspective. Look at the things that you are annoyed with. Flip them on their head. Reframe it into a positive spin. And then also in preparing your mind, you need to prioritize your time. Prioritize the time you have. This is a finite commodity. Time is finite. It's not unlimited. It's not unlimited. And the last thing on this little list of 4 is to prepare through practice. So you've got prepare your body, prepare your space, prepare your mind, and then prepare through practice. So here's what I wrote. Most of us are not taught how to stay actively focused. We're not taught how to focus. This is a world of so many distractions, mainly because of technology. And I think technology is a wonderful thing. I love what technology does for human beings. Our ability to stay connected, our ability to be creative, our ability to raise our consciousness. One of the things that I love is I have a couple of channels that I tune into when I need a really good guided meditation. And I can have that at the tip of my fingers. I don't have to search through and find a tape. I don't have to even buy the tape. Most of this stuff is completely free to us. We have to really use powerful discernment. And we have to remember that we weren't taught this for the most part. I mean, some of us might have been taught it by default. Growing up in a great big family like I did, and growing up in the 60s and 70s like I did, there were some things that we got by default because we were sent outside most of the time to play, not just after school, but all summer long. We were outside. There's this little saying that people are it's coming into their awareness right now. It's kind of a funny, there was like a public announcement that would come on the TV like at 10 o'clock at night in the middle of the summer. And I remember this, even though the TV wasn't on in our household most of the time, but there were times when I remember this. There was a public announcement that would come on and say, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? And of course, times are very, very different now. And we do live in extremely challenging times where we can't let our kids just be out playing unless you live out in the middle of nowhere and you can do that. That's a very different story if you live in a city. But things are definitely different. Now, here's some things that we can do to prepare our practice of not being distracted. We can meditate. We can be still. We can let go. We can let go of those things that just stay in our brain and, someone's bothering us, or someone did this, or I saw this on this social media and this is bothering me. And we can let go. We can let go. We can say no. We can say no to things. This is one of the most powerful things that I've learned. And it's not about being mean. It's not about, Saying no is one of the kindest things that you can do, not just for yourself, but for others. For others that might always be coming to you. And I'm not talking about not giving your fellow men service or helping someone in need, or, I'm not talking about those kinds of things. I'm talking about there are things that we layer on ourselves and we layer on our plates because we don't want to hurt someone else's feelings, and we are protecting them when a lot of times they don't even care. If we say no, they'll either do it themselves or move on to the next person. So one of the things that we can really practice, preparing all of these things for keeping our distractions low, is to say no. We can declutter our mind. This is easier said than done. And there's one thing that's really been coming into my awareness the past couple of weeks, and that's the idea of having original thoughts. Do we have an original thought? Or are you just thinking about the things that you see and the things that come into your awareness? And we have things that come at us everywhere. Think about when you're driving, especially on the freeway. There's billboards everywhere. There are signs of people's businesses. There are buy this and do that and look at this and come over here. And we might not even be paying attention because it's so there, but it still is coming into our awareness. We don't have the disconnection that we used to have, and we have to make a conscious effort to declutter our mind and have an original thought. This is where, honestly, this comes in. This is where a journal comes in. And when you start to journal, and there might be some stuff that you're just regurgitating from things that you've seen, conversations you've had with people, all of that. But then you start to go into a place of I think this might be an original thought. This might be something that I'm thinking that's just an original piece of who I am, a piece of my soul consciousness, right? I mean, that you get to that space and it's amazing. So now the second piece of this, after you've gotten yourself to a point where, and you can even do these together actually. In fact, I wouldn't say until you've got the distraction thing clicked in, don't do this. I would say do these together. And this is to activate your consciousness. We are in a place of heightened awareness, many of us, of what's going on in the world. And not only is time an important commodity, but our attention. I think our attention is the most important commodity that we have. And maybe you could put those together, because that might be, here's the most important, here's the most important. But I think that when we get someone's attention, or someone gets our attention and they keep it, this is why I think about shorts and reels and these little this is why TikTok is so powerful, is because it gives us these little short bursts of information that keeps us constantly, distracted. And that dopamine hit every time something comes on that's new and fresh, and it happens in 10 seconds or 15 seconds or 30 seconds. And getting through maybe an hour podcast, maybe that's a challenge for you, even if it's a really, really good topic, because it's just not as fast. So I think when we can get our attention back to stillness, back to non-distraction, then we can raise our consciousness. So I wrote a very quick list of things, and I'm going to go through this super quick. So we need to unplug from the matrix, whatever that means for you. We need to bathe. We need to get into water. I know people who live by the water. People are doing cold plunges. When you soak in a tub, there's something special about water. So I'm a shower person. I love taking a quick shower. But I know that the times that I will grab a bath bomb, I'll throw it in a nice warm tub, and I'll sit and soak, and I don't have anything except for I might turn on some high frequency music and just let the music wash over me. That alone can raise your vibration. Move. Get moving. That's, when I was talking about my walks earlier, this has the ability to raise your vibration, especially when you're walking out in nature, right? Be around like-minded people. Find your tribe. Tune into those people. and go to places. I have found friends on the hiking trail. I have actually found friends on a hiking trail. When you vibrate in a higher frequency because you are making a focused effort to do so, you are going to attract those people. And make a conscious effort to start to take those low vibe people out of your life. It'll benefit you along this journey, I promise you. Organize your environment. Minimalize. You know, there's a podcast, the Minimalist Podcast, that I tune in and listen to an episode every once in a while. I love their message. I love the documentary that they brought out a few years ago. One of my favorites. And it's kind of a goal of mine to get on their podcast, because I think it would be amazing to actually have a conversation with these amazing human beings who I think have figured out a huge piece of the puzzle. The things that keep us in low vibration are, a lot of times it's just stuff. It's just things, right? So minimize and organize your environment. Okay, clean up your diet. Okay, high vibe foods. We all know the foods that have higher vibrations. Living foods, like a great big salad, is one of my favorite things to eat. It's a teeny bit harder in the winter when it's cold here, but it's still delicious, especially if I'm bundled up in a sweatshirt and I'm having, maybe a bowl of soup with my big salad. Those foods actually have higher vibration to them. Reduce, eliminate alcohol and toxins from your body. We keep hearing, reduce alcohol. It can lower your consciousness. It kind of numbs you out. And that can be tough, especially if you like a glass of wine. I like a glass of wine every now and again, I do. And I keep being pulled to release it completely from my life. And I will say, I don't know if you've noticed while I've been doing here, see the yellow on my hands? I just made this amazing drink that is such a high vibe drink. What it is it's fresh ginger root, fresh turmeric root, hence all the orange on my hands, because I just peeled a bunch of, right before I did this video, I made myself this it's like an anti-inflammatory, digestive, my metabolism shot. I'll put the recipe behind or below this video, but it's fresh ginger root, fresh turmeric root, the juice of lemons, the juice of oranges, and then I peel and chop up the roots. I put them into the blender with the fresh squeezed juice. I blend it up, I strain it, and then I put it into a quart jar in my fridge, and I drink like an ounce or two of it every single day. And it actually, I can feel it make my body just vibrate at a higher level. I mean, not like I'm all of a sudden start vibrating, but I can literally feel the living foods and all the properties from those beautiful plants that are in my body. So eat a clean, high vibe diet. Serve others. Think about how good you feel when you serve others. A couple weeks ago, I did a huge clean out of my closet. And I do that about once a year. And I had a lot of stuff. In fact, I actually got rid of something that I've been holding on to for now more than 24 years, and that is my wedding dress. And I've asked myself, why am I holding on to this? Now, I will tell you, every year or so, just to see if I still fit into it, I will try it on. And I still fit into it, which is great, but truthfully, I'm not ever going to wear it again. And I don't think my granddaughter, who's 12, will want to wear it. And if she does, I'm sorry. But I actually took it to Goodwill on this last closet clean out. And I will tell you, it felt so good. I didn't feel bad. There was no sentiment. Now, I know some people, some women that have a wedding dress that has extremely sentimental value to them. Then you should keep it. That is not me. That is not me. So I think that when we get rid of things, and I don't know how I moved from serve others to getting rid of things, but I also think that, maybe my thought process was, if I'm giving away this huge bag of clothes, including this it's still a very beautiful wedding dress, and it had the headpiece with it too. I am able to let this go to the next person who maybe couldn't afford a wedding dress like this, but they can afford it at Goodwill. That is actually releasing physical things and letting them serve others. And then the last one I wrote down here is to listen to high vibe music. We all know how good classical music makes us feel. And if you don't know that experience yet, I hope that for you. I've always loved classical music. In fact, there's one thing that me and my husband have loved to do forever. There's a concert series that the Utah Symphony puts on up at a place called it's a Deer Valley. It's a ski resort up in Park City, which is just 30 minutes up the canyon from where we live. And every summer, the Symphony puts on a series of concerts, and one of them is Tchaikovsky's 1812. And it is the most beautiful, beautiful symphony. It's very, very recognizable. It's about 21 minutes. And at the end, there are live cannons. And up at the Symphony at Deer Valley in Park City, the symphony would actually play, and there would be live cannons at the end. And you would spread out your blanket, you would put your picnic out, and you would listen to a lot of classical music, and then at the very end of the evening, they would play this beautiful Tchaikovsky's 1812 symphony. And the way that you feel when you're listening to this music, I believe that most symphonies and most classical music vibrates at 440 hertz is what I understand. And I could do more research on this. There's some of you who might know, let me know in the comments. What's your experience with the frequencies of music and how it makes you feel? My son Brian is a lover of classical music, and it's, sometimes he'll just have Mozart on, and it raises the vibration of anyone who comes into his area where he's got his music playing. So start integrating some of these classical musicians and their work into your daily routine. It will automatically raise your consciousness. And then what I did is I just thought, as I was sitting there reflecting, I thought, there's a lot of things that are single words that really describe the idea of raising your consciousness. Give gratitude, have love, be generous, forgive, live mindfully. Think about the things that might mean for you. Set an intention every single day. Set an intention and act consciously. And then I wrote the word awaken. And this again can mean anything it's different for every person, because we're all at different awakenings on our journey here. So become more aware of what's going on with you on the inside, and become aware of what's going on with other people on their inside. Really tune in and listen to other people. Become aware. I think that's part of the awakening process. So not just become aware of what's going on the inside for yourself and for others, but be aware of what is happening around you on the outside. That is part of the awakening journey. And this can mean different things for everyone, because we're all at different stages. And then the very last thing that I wrote down here, and this is where I'm going to end this, is the higher the frequency of your energy or vibration, the lighter you will feel in your physical, emotional, and mental body. The higher vibes you have, the lighter you will feel. Okay? You will experience greater personal power, clarity, peace, love, and joy. You will have little, if any, discomfort or physical pain in your body, and you will deal easily with your emotions. So the reason I wrote that is because I know that when I focus on raising my vibration with eating clean, exercising every day, sitting in stillness, meditating, journaling, paying attention to the things that I'm letting into my awareness, I feel good in my physical body. I feel light. And think about the way you feel. And I think a lot of people feel this way. If you feel heavy, if you feel discomfort, if your joints ache, if you might physically have a few pounds to lose. You might have 10, 20, 30, 40, you might have 100 pounds to lose. That is not a high vibrational way to live. And I don't mean to say that to trigger anybody. I mean that with sincerity. Like, we are not meant to carry around a second physical weight on us. We are these light beings, and we must take care of this temple because this is going to raise our consciousness. So, this is why we're all here, to work on this together. Get help where you need it. Realize you have the power within you to do whatever it is that you are here to do. So I'm going to end it right there. It's been a beautiful week of reflection for me, leaving the distractions behind, getting out on my daily walks, this 4-mile loop. I have found it's the loop of perfection. For me, it takes me a little bit more than an hour. And unless I stop and I talk, a couple of my neighbors were out in their yard. This 2 sisters, they're in their 70s. They live together now. They have this house they take care of. They have a great big piece of property they're on, and they have all these horses in the back. And they are out taking care of this property themselves. And they were out in their front yard yesterday when I was out on my walk. And I stopped and I chatted with them for about 15, 20 minutes. And Lori and Chris, if you're watching this, hello. These 2 sisters are just some of my favorite human beings. They are active, they sparkle, they smile, they are constantly helping others. And their vibration is so, so high. So I just encourage you to focus on getting the distractions out of your life, make a conscious effort, and let that raise your vibration. Let it raise the consciousness, because this is how we get through these next few years, guys, is we focus on our own vibration and being that light for others. So I hope your day is amazing. I hope it's absolutely full of love and gratitude and light and some movement of that physical body of yours. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Let me find where to shut this off. There it is. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Drop me a comment. I'd love to hear what you think about these things, and we'll talk to you soon.